the past few weeks, I have been using both of them extensively and trying to get as much feedback as I can. Before I deep dive into all of the different specs, I do want to say that cameras have reached such a good level recently that they can all just shoot 4K, 120. They all have great stabilization, but there is a lot of nuances that I believe are better about some of the cameras than the other, which I want to share with you guys. But the two major things, if I told you that the battery lasts for 4 hours on the DJI Osmo Action 5 and it's $100 cheaper than the GoPro 13, I would be sold instantly if everything was the same. But everything isn't the same. There are some things where if you are a good cinematographer and you like to manually change all of your settings up, we're going to dive into how you can get better shots with the Osmo Action 5 and a couple things that the GoPro actually is better at. I've written down an arsenal of stuff over my extensive multiple week journey using both of these cameras: underwater, indoor, snowboarding, cold temps, hot temps, everything you can imagine, and we're about to break all that down for you guys right now. First of all, there's a couple things like the LCD screen on the front and the back is bigger on the DJI. It also has the only camera with OLED, which kind of means that you're gonna be able to see more real time what the shot is gonna look like on the camera when you bring it onto a big screen later. The magnetic mount, I love this thing. To be able to pop it in horizontally and then switch over to vertically as quick as you can is a total game changer. And then also the magnetic part on the bottom that can just stick to stationary items is just a nice little addition. Many things like the screw in, DJI made theirs two-sided, which seems like it's built more for a human hand. GoPro has the 4-side, and I've had days where I can't even get it off. I don't know why they wouldn't just implement the little 2-stick here, but way better. One time, I put the battery in backwards in the GoPro somehow, it allowed me to, and I closed the mount. I'm not sure if I ruined the camera and like it's not waterproof anymore, but it took me real power tools to open this thing up, and I feel like I bent the shell of it, and it's just a weird allowance to have the battery actually fit in and be able to close not in the right manner. I know that you guys are gonna know what I'm talking about here. If you have big fingers, the little wing flap that the GoPro has is so weird when they're falling down. That's just a little thing, but also it's got the little screws. I've had the screws on older GoPro cameras, which is the same exact setup here, come loose from vibration, and they don't sell them online, so I had to order them from a knockoff website, wait 5 days, showed up, didn't have the little mini eyeglass tool screw, had to order that, wait another week. And if you're not like me and you don't have multiple cameras, you can't just be 2 weeks out of the game without a camera. Same setup. I've had those screws corrode from the salt water and completely snap off before. DJI doesn't have even the possibility for any of that to happen. And I know a lot of people have asked me, is it secure? Seems like kind of a crazy feature. I've said it before, I've been in 10-foot waves with this thing. I've dropped it from 30 feet. I've smashed it. We rip around, we're as loose as you can get, and this thing has never done me wrong. Then we got the actual user layout. There's one specific thing about the DJI that is so much better. When you have your custom settings, when you press the side button, even if it's locked, no matter what's going on, it goes to number 1. If you press it twice, it goes to 2. That means that you can keep your gloves on. You don't have to actually swipe down and unlock it and then go into the settings. With the GoPro, you have to swipe it down, unlock the screen, click on the actual settings, then move over and click which custom one you want. If you're in the winter and you got your gloves on, it's just a waste of time. The playback feature, the way that you can just slide on the DJI is a lot more seamless, but the GoPro does have the ability to click slow-mo and to click fast forward and watch it better. DJI's is a little interesting. I haven't even really been able to dial it in yet. You have to hold your finger somewhere and it seems like you can only watch it in 2x, but I haven't really deep dove into that. An absolute buzzkill. We've all experienced it. The GoPro, even the 13, freezes randomly at 70%, sometimes for sure at 14%. When you're at the top of a run and you got 7% battery, I'm not dropping in with the GoPro. DJI has never frozen on me once.
You got another battery, yeah?
Yeah, what's it at though, dude? It's at 30%. We could potentially not change the battery.
GoPro, I'm always having to do that 8-second hold down hard reset. The Osmo, I will drop in at the top of a 5-minute power run with 5% full confidence. This thing actually goes to 1%, 0%, and then dies. Drop some comments. How many times have you guys had the GoPro die in the middle of a run? 8% to 12%. I feel like it actually doesn't even have like a 1 to 10%. It's such a high risk. That worry is completely gone with the Osmo 5. The Action 5 also has the fast charging case. Incredible, because one, I don't have 10 batteries in my pocket anymore. Realistically, on a long day, to be sure, I would ride around with 5 to 6 batteries in my pocket. And when you have that many batteries, it's clunky and it's edging into your leg. And then if you have anything else in there, it's a whole situation. Then I used to put a big sheath in there as well. So now I'm riding around, I weigh more on one side, and it's just like, I like to snowboard with nothing on me. When I go snowboarding with the Osmo, if I plan on just riding a few hours, I have the one battery in the camera, which is usually enough because they're claiming 4 hours. And that's a real take. I've used that thing for 4 hours, but I just put one battery in there. It's light, it doesn't need a case, you barely even notice it. And if you need to, you can go inside, eat some lunch, throw the battery in the quick charger, and the thing charges rapid fast. And that's not to mention, if you're surfing and you're in the water, to have a battery die is the worst thing ever. Having a dead camera in the water when you're surfing is wild. Battery is everything for me. Then we got internal storage. This thing has 47 gigs of internal storage. I don't know how GoPro could drop a camera with a competitor having internal storage and not have internal storage. Drop another comment, because I know every single one of you guys has experienced forgetting your SD card and showing up to the mountain. And if you drove 2 hours from New York to Vermont, they don't sell SD cards basically anywhere. Most SD cards, like a small, nice, decent SD card, is 32 gigs. So to have 47, life altering. Another huge thing, dude, I am obsessed with this camera. GoPro, thankfully, they do allow Bluetooth connection to the DJI mic. Yesterday, we finally started breaking out the mics.
Testing. I'm going to the left.
Filmed 2 runs, not realizing that when I shut the camera off on the lift, turned it back on, and filmed the next run with the mics on the whole time, it doesn't auto connect.
Yeah, just put that in your pocket. That thing's completely pointless with this. Bummer.
DJI, when you shut the camera off and then you turn it back on, auto connects to the mic and you just get right to it. You're not taking your glove off. You're not reconnecting things. Whatever, I'll reconnect it through the GoPro. Can't reconnect unless you touch the mic and send out the signal again. A double ruthless whammy. And then the third ruthless whammy is that the GoPro only allows you to connect to one mic. DJI allows you to connect to 2. I can have a mic on, Jack can have a mic on. We're hitting laps, we're killing the camera in between the runs. When we turn the camera on, it's automatically connecting to both of them, and we don't need to keep switching the mic. All of these little things add up, and yeah, it's maybe only 10 to 20 seconds here, 10 to 20 seconds there, but if you're doing 30 runs a day, you're wasting a half an hour, a third of the GoPro battery life. This stuff adds up, and it just makes it so seamless. Everything that DJI has done, it seems like they're getting real feedback and they're implementing it into their next camera instantly. Where my coffee at? Wow, that got cold so quick. Not to mention that the quality of the DJI mics, you see them all over the internet. Everybody's using the DJI mic, even if it's with phones or whatnot. It's so much better than just a Bluetooth connection. Some of the deep dives here with the specs that I'm gonna actually read a couple things because there's so much going on with these cameras these days. It has a color temp sensor with a 1/1.3 high dynamic low light imaging, which makes the auto white balance correct itself so fast. I was in the dome the other day snowboarding, and whether you're filming up or down the slope, basically facing into or away from the light, the GoPro was giving it this weird musky color, a little red brown, which actually wasn't what the place looked like. The DJI gives it this bright but light, kind of crispy, where the darks are just dark enough and the lights are just light enough. I do like how the DJI actually films a little underexposed, because then you can bring more light into it. If you film anything overexposed, it's almost impossible to remove light. And that is all because of the sensor, which is also tied into the fact that the low light capabilities of the DJI is crazy. It's got a native ISO reset, which I'm obsessed with, at 51,200, which means you can get crispy banger shots in the dark at night. And if you add just an iPhone flashlight to it, it looks so good. And just to have that extra ability to capture low light and not have that purple, grainy, jacked up ISO look is a complete game changer. It's all because of that sensor, and that sensor also allows you to shoot D-Log M with 10-bit and bring in your own color if you're good at color grading. But the natural way of the color grading that it does itself, if you're shooting in HGL, it's just getting the most crispy shots ever. We won't even dive into how many more megapixels the camera has compared to the 4. My favorite feature, it has a 4nm chip. Doesn't mean much to me, but what that does allow is it allows the deep freeze batteries to last 4 times as long. And that's all filmed at 4K 60. If you were to throw it at 2.7K and film on 24, the battery would last all day long, and you probably wouldn't even need to have a second battery, depending on how much you film. We film so much, so to only have 1 or 2 batteries and to be like me and be filming 6 to 8 hours throughout the day is crazy. Then we got the massive 0.3 second quick record. When I'm filming my runs and I shut the camera off to save battery on the chairlift, and there's somebody that's about to put down a banger real quick and they're somewhat close to me and I have it on wide and I click record, that thing is recording in 0.3 seconds and I'm getting the shot with the high quality and the ability to crop in. You can shoot on wide, crop in from 4K and still have a banger 1080 shot of somebody that looks a little bit more linear of an angle and throw that in the edit like you guys see all the time. But GoPro, they're claiming 3 seconds. I touch this thing, if it's not warmed up and hasn't been filming recently, I'm saying it takes a little bit longer than 3 seconds. And if you just realize somebody's about to hit a rail and you click record, 3 to 3.5 seconds, they're already off the rail.
Oh my god, I literally just got a real time of this thing freezing. Look at that. How quickly and how easily you can get a clip of this thing freezing.
Let's go. We're doing the dance. We're doing the dance. We're filming so much. It just started recording. 4 seconds, dude. What? And
0.3 seconds, boys. There's no reason not to be nailing clips anymore. Excuses are out the window. Real quick, I want to actually show a testimony from somebody who rocked up to me at the mountain, who uses the Action 5 and broke down exactly what I was just breaking down to you guys, but to not hear it from me, to hear it from somebody else real time, for me to see somebody else come up and have the exact same experience was huge.
I need the claim.
Well, the DJI is just the best. Lasts in the cold, lasts all session, 10% battery, you know you still got the run.
It's crazy.
Picture quality is so good, the sensors the best, it takes all the light, even when it's a little bit of a weird lighting situation like
It
this.
handles it all.
It's very nice.
Chef's kiss, dude. That was the freaking claim we needed.
You can zoom into people like from halfway up the slope and it still looks decent enough to do an edit.
Yeah.
You know?
That's how we've been grabbing clips on this chairlift up. We've been getting bangers with the boys hitting the features. So sick.
Talk about a legend. The 4K 60 crop in situation is amazing, but it doesn't just do that at 16:9. It also does that at 4:3. So that way, if you want to film in kind of that square-ish angle, it allows you to crop and have more flexibility, whether you're snowboarding or surfing. If you want the sky or you want the back foot or the nose of your surfboard, that 4:3 with that high quality allows you to do that little cropping, which makes the shot basically okay or really good. Lastly, we got the robust stabilization. It is absolutely insane. I always say that I've never used the maximum stabilization that the Osmo has. The basic stabilization is just that good, and every time you add more stabilization, it crops in a touch. For how loose we get on the mountain, to not be maximizing the stabilization availability just means that if you're mountain biking or you're doing something that is crazy shaky, the opportunity to get super crispy, slow-mo, stabilized clips is just world class right now. The Horizon Steady, which is super dope because having that weird horizon is annoying to save time editing and not having to keyframe the angle of the clip and then punch in, because when you change the angle of the clip, you have the black spaces. So now you have to punch in. So now you lose a little bit of quality. All those times that you save add up on the mountain. And then all of the extra time that you save from things like the horizon steady or the subject tracking saves you more time in the editing bay. Final couple things are the Bluetooth remote controller lets you record specific info like your speed, your tilting angle, your acceleration, and your route map, which that's gonna be pretty dope in the winter when we can actually have the altitude on the screen. To wrap it up, you get all of this for $100 less than the GoPro. As you can tell, I don't even need to say, I'm way more of a fan of the DJI Osmo Action 5 Pro for so many reasons. Yes, the capability of all the recording and the high definition and the quality control and all that, but more so, it's all the little things, the little screw, not having to take your glove off, the way that you can recap the footy, the fact that the battery lasts 4 hours, that you don't even need to max out the stabilization. That can go on forever. If you guys have experienced any of this stuff with either camera, or maybe you think that I'm not right about other things or there's stuff that I didn't add in, drop it in the comments. I want to hear people's real takes from using the GoPro and from using the Action 5. My take at the end of the day, DJI is the best digital video company in the game. So whether you're filming with their drones and then you're actually using that same drone footage and using the same color grading effects because it's all interchangeable, or you're using the mics, drop some comments. Let me know what you think. All of that, wipe it out the window. We got long-lasting batteries in freezing cold temperatures. We got great stabilization, and it's $100 cheaper. For me, that's a no-brainer. If you guys enjoyed this video or you got any benefit from it at all whatsoever, drop a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to put out as much informative, helpful information to dial you guys in so you can get banger shots. We've been doing some crazy stuff here in this European tour, currently in Norway right now. We've been dropping some heat, mostly filmed with the DJI, but also some GoPro stuff. Now that we got this review out of the way, we're going full-time Osmo on them. We got a link in the description if you guys want to check one out for yourselves. Appreciate the love, the support. We'll see you in the next one. Shoo! So look at this. See how it's doing the flicker, the hertz?
Yeah.
DJI Auto fixes itself.
Wow.
This one
Clearly doesn't.
clearly doesn't.
Clearly doesn't. We don't really have time to do it ourselves.
To be switching hertz out while we're trying to get barreled?
Kidding me? We're trying to get out there.